Hi, my name is Carson. I'm a radio personality, also a nationally syndicated comedy writer, and an amateur chef. I've been cooking for about 15 years for my friends, for other foodies, and also I've done some cooking demonstrations over the years with professional chefs. I'm not professionally trained, but I know what I like, and I'm trying to lead the lifestyle movement for couples and also demystify things that you'd be otherwise afraid to try. Today we're trying something very simple. One of the simplest soups I've ever made. It is a cauliflower soup, but it is incredibly flavorful. My ingredients are very simple. I got cauliflower, I got onion, I've got chicken broth, I've got a little fresh cracked pepper, and I'm going to top it with some pecans. Right now I'm just getting the cauliflower ready. And I know when you're thinking about delicious food, you're thinking, man, I could go for some cauliflower, right? Yeah. See, when I was a kid, cauliflower was boiled and served with melted Velveeta, which is a pretty good way to serve cauliflower. Today what we're going to do is we're going to make some delicious soup out of it. First step, clean up the cauliflower a little bit. Second step, I'm going to chop up some onion. I have a large yellow onion here. Probably going to use about half, maybe a little bit more. I don't use exact amounts of anything. I taste as I go along, but you'll get a ballpark figure on what you should use in this, and it'll be good, I promise. Everybody's got a way to cut an onion. I'm sure that Rachel Ray would not like the way that I cut my onion, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. You want to cut it up fairly finely. It doesn't have to be tiny because you're going to be softening it up and cooking it in just a moment on the stove. So there you go. I'm going to add a little extra virgin. This is obviously a very big virgin. I'd say a tablespoon or so of olive oil. Then I'm going to put my onion in here. And let's head to the stove. I'm going to turn on the heat right now. We're going to saute our onion. We've got a little bit of virgin olive oil in there and a good share of a medium yellow onion finely chopped. We're going to cook this until it's translucent and a little bit soft, and then we're going to add our cauliflower and our broth. Now with the extra virgin olive oil, after about 2 minutes I'm bringing the heat down. Virgin olive oil has a fairly low flash point, and I don't want to brown the onions. I just want to cook them and soften them a little bit. So I'm bringing it down to a medium heat for the remaining minute or two. I'm going to add about a quart of chicken broth. This is not a low sodium chicken broth. You may want to use a low sodium chicken broth. I'm just using the regular chicken broth because I don't need to add salt. But if you want to use low sodium, you may want to consider adding some salt as the recipe goes on. I'm going to bring this to a boil, a little more of a boil. Then I'm going to add my cauliflower. Cauliflower is pretty light, and so it doesn't take too long to cook. I'm going to say probably about 15 minutes at a high boil. We're going to soften it up very nicely, and then we're going to puree it in the food processor. I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to check it real quick and see if it falls apart rather readily, and it does. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it in my big mouth food processor, and we're going to make a really creamy, wonderful cauliflower soup. I'm going to use my strainer, and then I will add the broth as I need it. All right. I'm not going to add all the broth because I don't want it to be too watery. I'm not going to pulse it. I'm going to put it on high. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it back in my saute pan, and I'm going to add a little bit of half and half. You can use whipping cream if you want. I'm going to put about 2/3 of a cup, and we'll see what it looks like when we get it going. Again, I don't always cook exactly. I look at it, how it looks and how it feels, and then decide. It looks really good. See how creamy that looks? Cauliflower soup is flavorful, it's wonderful, and unfortunately, it's not the best thing to eat if you're going to be sleeping next to somebody. I think you get my drift. I'm going to go ahead and add it. What the heck? There you go. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of fresh cracked pepper right now. This will be about a half a teaspoon altogether. It's hard to measure, obviously, when you're using a pepper grinder. It's hard to use too much pepper when you're using a pepper grinder. There we go. We'll stir that in. All right, as soon as we get this up to serving temperature, we will be ready to serve our guests. All right, so I've got the cauliflower soup in the bowl. I've got some nicely finely chopped pecans that I'm going to sprinkle on top of here. They're not roasted, they're just raw. Walnuts works really, really well as well, and that looks kind of pretty, doesn't it? And there you have it, cauliflower soup. Enjoy it.
To watch the other segments in this video series, or for how-to videos on almost any other topic, visit monkeyseed.com.